Time now for another edition of Straight Talk with Risa and Edwina. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Today's focus is on something very serious, surviving mental illness. Can you tell me what that is and why it's important to be aware of it?
Sure. So mental illness or mental health concerns are any mental, emotional, or behavioral disorder that ranges in impairment from mild to moderate to severe. And that is distinguished from severe mental illness, which is mood, behavior, or thinking that's so severe that it impairs daily functioning. And generally, we see these types of people on the news, perhaps, who have committed maybe some serious crimes or caused serious situations, as we have recently seen with the Honolulu police officers. And so knowing what mental illness is and being minimally aware of it will help to at least, while we may not be able to prevent, we may be able to kind of keep in mind and learn how to deal with that.
And be aware of it.
Be aware of it, absolutely.
I know, Edwina, that you have some statistics on mental illness.
Yes, so according to the Mental Health America, it's estimated about 1 in 5 Americans will develop some sort of mental illness or mental health diagnosis in any given year. And on top of that, approximately 40% of Americans will actually meet the criteria for some sort of diagnosis, and usually they start to experience symptoms when they're about the age of 14 already. Okay. So it starts actually from quite a young age. So in addition, with the National Institute of Mental Health, they also estimate that about 11.2 Americans in general will also develop some sort of severe mental illness, which is about 4.6% of the population in general. Okay. And so the sad part about the whole thing, though, is that about 56% of Americans who have some sort of mental illness will not receive, though, any type of treatment.
Okay, that's disturbing, actually.
Yes.
Can you give me some examples of mental illness, and then what happens if people don't get treatment for it?
Right. So some examples are terms that we're familiar with, like anxiety and depression, but that the severe mental illness types of kind of diagnoses include schizophrenia or psychoses, which may include hearing or seeing things that are not there, bipolar, major depression, and addictive disorders. And what happens if people don't get treated, aside from just their quality of life is not optimal and their symptoms may increase, is that we may see them try to self-medicate in order to try to combat some of what they're experiencing. And when they self-medicate, these symptoms grow even worse, and it can exacerbate the types of behaviors and things that they display in the community. So it's very concerning.
What do you think should be done to address mental illness, whether it's moderate or severe?
So if someone is suspecting or they have a loved one who has a possible potential mental illness, the most practical thing to do is really to seek help and get treatment for that. Okay. So oftentimes most folks don't realize, but they can actually seek first help from their doctor. And sometimes if needed, the doctor will also refer them out to another professional for additional assistance. On top of that, a lot of folks don't also realize, but there's also a lot of community groups that are out there online and even within our state that offer groups such as Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Celebrate Recovery, and all of these are resources that people can easily tap into. Also within our state, we have something called the Suicide and Crisis Hotline, which is actually available 24/7, and anyone actually can call that line for help as well.
Okay, then there are those that will refuse treatment or refuse help, and what then if they're creating problems, say, in a home or a community?
Right. In those cases, particularly in dealing with severe mental illness, it's best not to try to engage them individually, although at the same time, showing up with a large group may also be quite intimidating and may cause things to get worse. But when we're dealing with those situations, oftentimes people are not in their right state of mind, and so trying to use logic and reason is not going to work anyway. If it's at that level, it's actually best to call 911 and to get some help from the authorities. And otherwise, there is support for people who have family members who have mental illness. They can certainly talk to a professional. They can call us, for example, at our center, 375-7712 or www.hookollc.com.
Great information, great advice, and of course, we're going to have all of that on our webpage shortly after the show. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Much more when we continue.